Wind farms are an icon of the environmental movement, but are they good for the environment? Could erecting huge turbines across the natural landscape actually be bad? Chris O'Neill is an environmentalist, but he's got profound concerns about the effect of wind farms on the natural world, and particularly in rural areas. He represents the group Friends of Maine Mountains, and he joins us tonight. Chris, thanks for coming on.
It's good to be here, Tucker.
Thank you. So I think most people who love the outdoors are in favor of sustainable energy, and wind farms seem like a really clean form of it. Why should people who love the outdoors be concerned about wind farms?
Well, what people usually start out seeing is a big, majestic piece of kinetic energy that's as big as a 747. And they say, wow, that's majestic.
Yes.
That's wonderful. We're saving the planet. But once they put some numbers behind what they see and start to quantify the impacts and the benefits, they tend to take a different view, and these majestic turbines become a whole lot less tolerable to look at.
And they have environmental effects, I mean, some of which we don't fully understand, but we know they kill a lot of birds. But they also enrich a number of big companies, not all of them based here, that take advantage of our, in effect, subsidies to get rich. Who's making the money from these things?
Well, they're largely hedge fund investors and institutional investors, many of whom are offshore and overseas. And they're people who tend to speculate. I mean, God love Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett said in 2014, he said, these wind farms, and no insult to farmers, these wind farms don't make any sense at all. The only reason we do them is for the production tax credit, which is a federal subsidy.
Yeah, so the rest of us are paying for Warren Buffett to get even richer. So I guess one of the concerns I have about these, and again, I like the idea, I think most people do like the idea, but as these companies come into rural areas that are struggling, where the industry has died, and they pay off the town governments, and in exchange, people get one of these in their backyard. And do those people have any recourse? Do they have a say in this at all?
It varies state to state, Tucker, and Maine, where I live, has set up a law now for 10 years that makes it almost impossible for citizens or citizen groups to stand in the way of a permit for one of these wind applications. And they can be very big. The footprint for a typical wind energy project tends to be anywhere from 6 to 20 miles across, and they go across some ridge lines that Maine has for centuries valued a lot.
Right. So Warren Buffett can get richer. You get one of these in your backyard, killing all the birds, you know, for a square mile, driving you crazy with the noise, and you can't do anything about it.
Well, he can do very little. And again, the state of Maine started out 10 years ago with stars in its eyes, said, you know, we need to get our boys home from Iraq, we need to get off of oil, we need to save the planet. And what turned out to be the fact of the matter was that wind energy produces electricity, and we don't use oil for electricity. Anything we do with wind energy here in America has nothing to do with our conflagrations in the Middle East.
Right.
And the amount that we can move the needle on CO2 using wind energy is de minimis. If CO2 is a problem, and I don't like to wade into the rabbit hole of gun rights, reproductive rights, or climate change, but if CO2 is a problem, or if climate change is a problem, wind energy does nothing to solve it.
Right, exactly. And solar is actually kind of promising, but the tax code encourages hedge funds to get rich while they wreck your yard, and it's infuriating. Thank you for standing up for that. I appreciate it.